everyone, and thank you for joining me for day 10 of the Christmas card series. So, today is going to be a little bit different. Instead of doing one card, I'm going to be doing 5 gift card holders. So, I took an 8.5 by 11 sheet of recollection paper and I cut it into 4. Actually, I did that with 2 pieces of paper so that I could get 5 pieces that were 4.25 by 5.5. And then I used my Score Pal and I scored them at 2 and 4.5. Then I used the My Favorite Things Gifting Fun die, and I used it to create the little tabs that hold your gift card into place, and you'll see me demonstrate this later on in the video. So I did this die cutting for all 5 pieces that I was using in order to create my card, and there you see me demonstrating how the die holds it in place. So now it's time to really decorate the front of my gift card holders, because now the form has pretty much been set. So I used the Your Next Stamp Stripes stamp set, I believe it's called, and I again did this plaid pattern similar to what I did in day 1 of the Christmas card series. So I'm trying to save some time by doing these gift card holders in batches. That way I can get them done as quick as possible. So after using 2 of the different stripes in the cards kit, I decided to use my other color as embossing powder, or as an embossed finish. So I'm using my Inkadinkado Embossing Buddy to just prep my surface, and then I went ahead and used Versamark ink to stamp in the remainder of the pattern. Something that I should have done and didn't do was heat set the ink before going on to this next step. So even with the embossing buddy, I found that I still had some powder residue sticking to the previously stamped ink, so the green ink. However, I just use a brush, and you'll see me later on just going ahead and brushing off the areas that embossing powder stuck to. So once I sprinkle the embossing powder, you now get to see what the actual pattern looks like. You can do this in stages if it's easier, if you have a difficult time keeping track of where you've already stamped and what it's going to look like. I kind of just went where I thought I hadn't been. If you do it in a left to right kind of succession, you'll kind of not overstamp where you've already been. And then I added the embossing powder to truly see what my stamp looked like, or what my image looked like. If at that point I wasn't happy with it, I would have just embossed it and then gone ahead with Versamark ink again and filled in any areas that I had missed. But I was pretty happy with the pattern that was formed with my first attempt. Here you see me using my brush to get away some of the excess embossing powder. Now, this is a little bit more time consuming because there's the stamping as well as the embossing. So I decided for the next 3 that I was going to do something without embossing. So I used 3 inks from Stampin' Up!, Soft Sky, Bermuda Bay, and Pool Party. And then I took 2 snowflakes, about 5 different snowflakes from my Winter Wonderland stamp set from My Mind's Eye, and from an Inkadinkado Snowflakes Aplenty stamp set. I used these stamp sets in an earlier video as well in the card series. And I used them to create the border in the front of the card. Next, I used the My Favorite Things Gifting Fun stamps to create the sentiments that are going to be behind my gift card when you initially open it. So you'll see again later that once you put the gift card in, this sentiment's kind of hidden. When you take the gift card out, then you get to see the sentiment. And in there I used An Excuse to Spoil Yourself and You Deserve So Much More Than Just a Card. I thought those were 2 really great sentiments, and what's really great about the stamp set is that the sentiments fit right in between the space left by the die. So they're perfectly spaced for that reason. Next, I used some Lawn Fawn pattern paper that came in my October Simon Says stamp card kit. And I just cut off a little bit of this polka dot print with in a pool color. Thought it went well with the stamping that I had already done, just to kind of define that edge. And then I went ahead and used that same paper, and I scored it at 1 7/8 as well as again at 4 1/2. And that allows me to turn this into a collar that I can use to keep my card holder, gift card holder closed. So I'm just using some multimedia matte because it just happened to be handy on my desk. And I use that to seal up my holder. So now you're beginning to see how it's taking shape. So now I'm kind of transitioning to the gold to embellish it a little bit. So instead of using the pool paper like I did on my pool colored snowflake ones, I used some gold to trim the edge of my gift card holder. So to do this, I just, as you see, took some embossing powder, Versamark ink, and applied it to a large surface of the cardstock. Then I added my embossing powder and embossed it. And then I started using it like cardstock. So you'll see that I cut slivers that I'm going to attach to the gift card holders from this. And I also die cut two gold colored tags from the Spellbinders Labels 18 rectangles. So I again also die cut that in white, and I stamped my sentiment onto that tag. It fits perfectly. It's a Simon Says Merry and Bright stamp set. So once I've done that, now I'm punching the holes that I need in order to attach my tag to my gift card holder. And then I will be attaching it using some embroidery thread. So here you see I've cut a sliver off of my gold embossed paper, and now I'm just using some multimedia matte again to adhere that gold piece to the fronts of my gift card holder. Now for the closures for the gold, I decided to use this really pretty satiny green ribbon, and I just tied it into a bow. You'll see me do it here, and then I'll go ahead and trim off the edges of the bow in order to just tidy it up a little bit and make it pretty. For the other card, I decided to use some gold ribbon. However, it has a wire in it that makes it stiff, and it's just another option that I had, so the gold ones are slightly different. For the tag, I'm just going to, like I said, put the embroidery thread through, and then I'm going to tie off the embroidery thread below the bow so it's kind of hidden. Once I knot it into place, I'm just going to cut off the excess, and then it'll be hidden from view, and my tag will kind of just dangle beneath the bow there. So one thing I wanted was for the closure for the gift card to be removable. So even though I'm using ribbon here, I still have it tied in such a way that I can pull it off and slide it back on to my gift cards, so that once I do buy my gift cards, they can be slotted in without having to retie these bows, which can be tricky. I seem to be able to do it once and only once, and then it never looks the same. You'll also notice that I put a little bit of multimedia matte inside the bow just to keep it from being able to be untied, so that no one accidentally unties it. when they receive it, and then it always stays perfect. So moving on to the tags for the pool colored gift card holders, I just stamped my sentiment in Bermuda Bay onto the same die cut tag, and then I used white embossing thread, or embroidery thread, sorry, to tie them onto the holder or the sleeve for the gift card holder. So I did that for all three, and that pretty much completes the card or the project for today. And here you can see me just again putting in a random gift card and sliding on my holder. So thank you for joining me for day 10. I hope you've been enjoying the series, and catch me later for day 11. Thanks everyone.